So maybe you don't have a gym at home. Maybe you're not going to the gym just yet out in public. I'm going to show you how to use your bedroom door to get some good bicep exercises in. Let's go. What's going on? It's your dude with That Guy Health, and today we're going to use your bedroom door in order to get a bicep routine in. A lot of you saw the chest routine. You can go back into the video section and check that out, as well as I go live on Sundays at 10 a.m. and post those workouts for you on the YouTube channel. All right, so today we're going to be utilizing the bedroom door to do bicep routines. I haven't decided which moves I'm going to do, so we're going to go on the fly. I'm also going to explain to you some of the technique and some of the things you need to be aware of, even with using resistance bands. All right, any type of resistance is something that could harm or injure you if you do not handle it right. So just a precaution, I have not notified my daughter that I'm making a video, so at any point in time she could come and slap the back of me. And my wife's over there working in the corner. At any point in time she might need to leave the room for a meeting, so this is real life shit. So guess what, things might happen. So let's get started. All right, so here's the bag. You all might have a bag, you might have a box, you might not have anything. These are the resistance bands that we're going to be using today. The tubes, all right, instead of what you normally see online is you'll see the pull-up assisted bands, and we use those bands in a multitude of ways, but technically they were made to assist people in pull-ups, but we still use them for a lot of other stuff. So with the tube bands, typically you will get handles, not that piece, handles like so, and you will also get this piece. This piece is very critical, as this piece is what you will use to allow you to attach the bands to the door to have an anchor point. All right, if you don't have this piece, yes, you can do a workaround. I'm not saying it'll be as efficient, but it is possible. All right, so we'll go ahead and toss this bag to the side. Today we have a 40-pound band, I believe this is a 20, the green is a 20, this is a 20-pound band, and we have a 30-pound band. I'm going to go ahead and toss this 40 to the side, as form is priority. The amount of resistance is secondary, okay? Because if you can't have proper form with any type of resistance, whether it's free weights, resistance bands, pull-up bands, you're really not doing yourself any favors, okay? Because proper form will allow us to put majority of the tension in the prime mover, which today the bicep is the prime mover. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cut us some time, and you should do the same thing too. Take whichever bands you're gonna select to use for the day and slide them through this anchor point, so you don't have to keep adding throughout the day. You can just unclip with the D-ring and clip in what you're gonna use. Since we're doing biceps, the first part I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attach this anchor point to the bottom of the door, and we'll start in a traditional bicep, and then I will go ahead and we'll do an alternative move, which will become also a compound movement, and we'll attach to the top of the door. All right, so let's get this started. I tell you what, I'm going to save myself also some time. Go ahead and attach these handles. All right, so today's rep range, because we are going for a hypertrophy, is 12 to 15 in 3 sets. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 set of each move, and then you can feel free to go ahead and add as many sets as you would like to your own personal routine at home. I'm going to go ahead and attach this 20 first and see how that works out, and if need be, I can attach the 30, or I can attach both. All right, now that we have that attached, as so, go ahead and open your door, slide that underneath, and we're ready, okay? So first move, we're gonna start with traditional bicep, all right? So when you're doing this bicep move, a lot of people have a tendency to put this amount of flexion in their wrist, all right? I think you're believing that that's allowing you to squeeze that bicep even more, but what you're doing is you're also just bringing in the forearm, okay? Let's take some of that flexion out, extend, and put a good amount of tension right there in the bicep. You can already tell if you just hold your arm like this and let your wrist extend some, you'll feel the tension increase in the bicep, as you'll be able to put more in the bicep versus just the forearm and closing down on the bicep. So keep that in mind as we go through the routine, all right? Separate these. Let's go ahead, traditional bicep curl, okay? So all we're gonna do is you can do a unilateral or a bilateral move, which means both at the same time or just one. let's go ahead and do both. And what we'll do is you'll step out, preload the bands, get a little preload in there. Don't come from slack to just go ahead all on tension. Go ahead and preload them so you can have a good amount of tension on the eccentric and concentric. And eccentric is when you're extending the muscle is lengthening. Concentric is when you're contracting the muscle and the muscle is shortening to cause the movement, all right? So we're gonna go ahead, put our forearms aligned with our side, and we're gonna go ahead and just boom. Now, as you see, my wrists are straight. They're not flexed in like that. They're straight, and that's all you're gonna do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, if you also notice in there, what I'm doing is I'm not doing this. Okay, because when you move this elbow back and forth past that line, really essentially what you're doing is you're doing front delt exercises. This is not a good bicep curl, okay? I don't care how much weight you put on there, you're adding in the delt, which is taking away tension from the prime mover, which is the bicep. So you'll see that I don't even close down all the way on my bicep. I come to a certain point and I stop because I'm allowing the bicep to not only stay contracted, but full instead of closing down on the bicep. It's not a good move. So you'll see I'll stop right there and boom, all right? So another one we can do is, you probably wouldn't think about it, but you can also do a crossbody type hammer curl with the resistance bands. So what I'll do is I'll start from this position, a handle on both sides. If I'm gonna work the right hand first, I'll turn right, keeping this handle in my left hand to also adjust tension on the resistance band. I'll step out some or pull some, closing my left hand down on my hip so that way I'm not overworking my left bicep. So by the time I get to my left bicep, it's already slightly fatigued. So what I'm gonna do here is also step out a little bit, preload that band, and crossbody hammer curl, all right? Just like that. I keep the same practice. I don't wanna put a lot of flexion in my wrist. I don't wanna close down on my bicep, and you should feel it in that outer head as well as the brachialis, okay? Which is another portion of the bicep a lot of people forget about. So we'll do 12 reps with this. Go ahead, put those shoulders back lined up and bring that arm, bring that hand up to that pectoral. That's about as high as you need to come. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, boom. Now at this point I could add more weight, but going through the moves, it's really not necessary. Plus I just finished working out, and all you do now is to work the left one, you'll just go ahead, turn the other way, do the same thing, all right? So those are two good ones right there. Another one you could do is you could both do this one, lower and upper, is the reverse bicep curl. Now listen, I don't care if you have weights or bands. People often forget to work both ways in any routine, all right? You want to be controlled in any routine on a concentric and eccentric. There's no reason to waste motion. You can work both ways. It just so happens to be a good amount of work can be done in the antagonist muscle, which will be the tricep in the bicep move, on the eccentric, because right now with the resistance on the band, we can slow down, and as the bicep is lengthening, which means it's not contracting, the tricep is started to contract to control that tension. So if we slow it down, we can get a compound move working both the bicep and the tricep, all right? So what you'll do is go ahead, take up the slack in this one. We'll go ahead and start with the left arm first. Preload it, put your elbow down by your side. Go ahead, I'm gonna do a false grip, which means I'm gonna have my thumb on the same side as the rest of my fingers. It's set on the underside, and I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna pull up. Still not this flexion movement in my wrist. You don't want that. I wanna keep that right here. I can automatically feel the tension increase in the bicep when I take that flexion out and have it more extended and straight, okay? And we're gonna do 12 just like this. 1, 2, 3, and you want about a 3 count on the eccentric. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, and one to grow on. Boom. All right. Reverse curl just like that. I can feel it working in the bicep, but on the eccentric, I feel it working in the tricep. Now, on that one, on that lower ankle point, you'll still get quite a bit more tension in the bicep versus the tricep. But as we attach to the top of the door, we will get more in the tricep as we are lengthening the bicep and contracting the tricep, and on the way up we can slow it down and work secondary in the bicep. So I'm going to go ahead and move this ankle point from the lower point of the door to the top portion of the door. And I tell you what, let's go ahead and change these 20s to the 30s for this last move. Put a little bit more tension on there. Just like that, all right? So I'm gonna work left so you can see it a little bit better from where I'm facing. And I'm gonna make the right hand and adjust the tension by putting this right hand down by my side. And we're gonna come with our palm facing us this time. The last time when we had the anchor point at the lower point of the door, we had our palms facing away from us. This time with the anchor point above us, we're gonna have our palm facing us this time, all right? So what we're gonna do is load it up. I'm gonna go ahead and preload. The same leg that you're working with on that same side of the hand is gonna go back. The opposite leg will go forward, get you a nice stance, get nice and firm, and then pull down tricep. Work nice and slow coming back up, and we got the bicep in there. Down. 3, 4. Keeping the same practice, not flexing my wrist. Contracting that tricep on the way down and slowing down the tension and fighting against the band on the way up to bring in that bicep. Notice my shoulders slightly roll back, neutral, not roll forward. And there we go, all right? So there are about 3 to 4 moves, I believe that was 3, could be 4, that you can do with your bedroom door using these resistance bands or similar resistance bands to this that will give you a good workout. Remember, you want to do 3 to 5 sets, 12 to 15 reps. I guarantee you, if you follow that form, you follow that method, you'll feel a good burn. Adjust your tension to what you can handle with good form. And by 12 to 15 reps on the second set, you definitely should be fatiguing. Third set, definitely more. Fourth set, more and more as you go, okay? And just push yourself as hard as you can. So other than that, that's gonna be it. Why don't you try doing that routine along with the chest routine, switch out the days, many other workouts on the channel. You know what I always say about this time, be safe, let's build together, and peace.